You may not realize it, but there's someone who lives in fear of never seeing you again. A real fear, a dry fear, a constant fear, like someone who feels that something is hanging by a thread and doesn't know what to do to prevent it from breaking. This person doesn't sleep peacefully, not when your name echoes silently inside, not when every goodbye feels like a rehearsal for the end. They say nothing. They don't ask. They don't complain. They just observe. They just feel. They just suffer in silence. And no matter how much they try to disguise it, you are the center of a void that hasn't happened yet, but already hurts as if it were ancient. This person is afraid to open their phone and never see a message from you again. Afraid to call and hear that you're no longer there. Afraid to look back and realize there's no turning back. Do you understand what this is? It's the fear of an unexplained disappearance, of a distancing that starts slowly, and by the time you realize it, it has already turned into definitive absence. Someone is silently begging within themselves not to lose you, to find you tomorrow, to ensure that you will continue to exist in their life. But they don't say it. They don't show it. Because maybe they've learned that those who feel too much can be frightening. But the anxiety is there. The terror is there. The desire to hold your hand and say, "Promise me you won't disappear." That's what they want. A promise. A presence. A confirmation that you will still be here when everything else falls apart. Have you ever felt this way about someone? Comment a heart if you've lived through something like this. They just want to be sure they will still see you, even if it's from a distance, even if it's quick, even if it's just one last time, but that it exists, because the thought of never again is unbearable. You have no idea what your presence provokes, not how much your absence already starts to hurt, even before it happens. There's someone living in fear of never seeing you again, a fear that doesn't speak, but that consumes, a fear that hides behind controlled smiles, short messages, and an attempt to appear okay, when inside, a silent goodbye is happening every single day. And maybe you never noticed, or maybe you sensed something was off, a certain distance, a restrained gesture, but you chose not to ask, you chose not to dig deeper, you chose not to see. Yet this person sees everything, feels everything. Even if you say nothing anymore, even if you have remained quiet, even if your gaze can no longer hold hers, she notices. She perceives that time feels different, that the frequency of conversations is no longer the same, that your demeanor has changed, that your presence feels cold, and still she doesn't leave, she stays, scared, angry at herself, with this knot tied in her chest. But she stays, because the fear of losing you is greater than any instinct for self-preservation. Do you have any idea what that's like? It's living in fear of goodbye, even before it arrives. It's being scratched by an absence that hasn't even been confirmed yet. It's being a prisoner of a hope that lingers, even when everything seems lost. This person is afraid to open her phone and never see your name there again, afraid of not hearing your voice on the tough days, afraid of reaching out one day and realizing it's too late, that you've moved on, that you've given up, that you no longer feel the same. If this has happened to you, comment, "I needed to hear this." There are people who don't know how to say they're dying inside, so they go silent, but those who know how to see, and you need to understand, there's someone out there who is terrified of you disappearing. She has imagined you leaving 1,000 times, has cried in advance, has thought about what the world would be like without your presence. She's not afraid of life. She's afraid of living a life where you no longer exist in it. Have you experienced something similar? Share in the comments. This person has already imagined sitting on the couch and realizing that you're not coming home anymore. Have you thought about the silent Sundays? About the absence of your scent, about the absence of your chaos, about the absence of what you don't even know you do? But for her, it means everything. She feels scared even when you say, "See you later," because she no longer has the confidence that later will actually come. Do you notice this? Do you realize that she tries to appear strong, that she hides her feelings? But there are days when desperation overflows, even without tears. There are nights when she seeks you in her dreams, and she wakes up as with a heavy heart for no apparent reason. But the reason is always you. You are what she fears losing, even without ever having you completely. Sometimes she tries to convince herself that she's overreacting, that she shouldn't feel so much, that you don't deserve all of this. But fear doesn't follow logic. It has a body, it has a presence, it invades, it installs itself, it tightens. And when that fear mixes with love, it turns into agony. She doesn't want to trap you. She doesn't want to force anything. She just wishes you would notice, that you would know, that you wouldn't pretend not to see, that you would stop for a second and look inside her with the same attention she has always given to your silences, because you also go quiet, and your silence hurts. Some people love in silence, some people suffer in silence, and some people disappear without leaving a place. Are you pulling away or are you still here? If you're still here, respond. If you still feel something, show it. If you still care, stay. But don't let her sink alone in the fear of losing you. Don't do that. What do you feel for her? Do you know the place you occupy in this person's life? Do you realize how deeply you're already inside her, even if you've never asked for that? She doesn't want you to say anything right now. She just wishes you could feel, that you would let your heart understand what's pulsing behind her absence. Because yes, she may be more distant. She may seem cold. She may be more restrained. But that's just a defense. It's just fear. She's afraid of giving herself fully and you disappearing. She's afraid to open her heart and have you leave. She's afraid to trust. And for you to turn your back. She doesn't want to lose you, but she also doesn't want to keep begging with gestures, presence and care, and receive nothing in return. Does this make sense to you so far? Write yes down below. She won't be able to handle this for much longer. This tension, this doubt, this nameless pain. Because it's not an end, but it's not a beginning either. It's this limbo of almost. This place where love still exists, but doesn't know if it can stay. Do you want her to stay? Do you want to be in her life? Or are you just occupying a space you don't know how to appreciate? You need to answer that, even if it's in silence. But you need to feel and realize, because there's someone there afraid of never finding you again. And it's not drama, it's not exaggeration. It's just too much love in a heart that can't bear so much absence anymore. Have you heard this phrase before? Comment. I have. And if she disappears one day, if you wake up and realize she's no longer there, remember this. She waited. She felt. She loved, but the fear of losing you was greater than the strength to keep having you only halfway. Share this with someone who needs to reflect on it. This person, who is still trying to keep you close today, might be the same one who tomorrow won't be able to look at you anymore. Because love, when it's deep, doesn't survive on physical presence alone. It demands emotional reciprocity. It needs signals. It needs to be felt from both sides. Don't vanish, don't disappear. Don't turn her into just a good memory that you'll revisit in your thoughts when it's too late, because there's something you still haven't understood. She's already starting to say goodbye to you, not in an obvious way, not by slamming the door or shouting. She's saying goodbye in the rhythm of someone who still loves, in the timing of someone who wanted to stay, but realized she's becoming alone. She still responds to your messages, but she no longer feels the same butterflies. She still smiles when you show up, but she no longer trusts how long it will last. She is still waiting for you, but with less hope. She still believes that maybe you'll look at her the way you used to, but she has also started preparing for the day when you won't look at her anymore. And when that day comes, if it comes, don't think it happened out of nowhere. Don't say you didn't know. Don't say she left without saying goodbye. Did you not hear? She cried out. She wept in silence. She sent messages with a period at the end, trying not to seem needy. She asked random questions just to keep the conversation alive. She called you by different names just to see if any of them touched your heart. And yet, you didn't notice. Or you noticed and pretended it wasn't about you. Do you know what hurts more than being left? It's realizing you're being ignored. It's continuing to be present in name, in function, in role, but not in affection, not in desire, not in real presence. She hasn't left yet, but she's no longer whole. And when someone starts to leave inside, the absence arrives before the departure. If this text has touched you up to this point, comment. She's still here, but I don't know for how long. You got used to her being there, available, giving everything, loving to the limit. But you didn't see what that cost her. She lost nights trying to understand your silences, lost days trying to pretend everything was fine, lost parts of herself trying to keep you whole. And now she's wondering, is it worth it to keep being everything for someone who is already nothing? Can you feel that? She still wants to stay. But what keeps someone where there's no more warmth? You might think she's exaggerating. You might think it's drama. But that's the feeling of someone who loves someone who has already started to leave, even while being right next to them. Are you still there? Or are you just occupying the space out of inertia? Because she's looking at you with the same care as before, but her gaze no longer feels like home. She still loves you, but she no longer knows if you deserve it. And do you know what's worse? She doesn't want to go. She didn't want to have to imagine a world without you. She just wanted to be sure you wouldn't disappear. But that certainty, you've never given. So she lives in this cruel limbo between hoping and giving up, between insisting or just breathing, between trying one more time or completely withdrawing. Do you want her to stay? Do you still feel something real for her? Can you look inside yourself right now and realize what you're about to lose? If you feel something, say it. If you want her, show it. If you love her, prove it. Because if things continue the way they are, she will slowly fade away. You won't notice it on the first day, not even on the second. But when you do notice, you will be talking to someone who no longer hears you, with a heart that no longer beats for you. You'll miss the presence that is still there, but one you didn't know how to keep. And then, my dear, the fear that belongs to her today will become yours. You will wake up late. You will remember her in songs that didn't mean anything to you before. You'll see her name in random places. You'll want to write, but you won't know how to start anymore. You'll feel what she feels now, the dread of never finding her again. And you will realize too late that no one looked at you the way she did, that no one cared for you with that kind of patience, that no one put up with your emotional absence for so long without stopping loving you. Comment a heart if you know what I'm talking about, but there's still time. If you feel it now, if you decide now, if you have the courage to break this cycle now, she's still here, breathing inside, even when hurt, waiting, even without asking, present even when scared. Just don't take too long. Absence also kills those who love. And she has already started to die for you, little by little, day after day, feeling after feeling that you left unanswered. But you're still here, right? Reading, feeling, maybe pretending it's not about you, but with your heart caught in every word, because deep down, you know she deserves more and that you gave her less. You know she waited longer than she should have, and that you gave less than you could have. You felt it when she started to change. You felt it when the intensity turned into distance. You felt it when the sparkle in her eyes was replaced by fatigue. But you did nothing. And now she's there. She's still there, but not for much longer. Do you think she's going to beg? Do you think she'll force you to feel something? Do you think she'll wait for you to decide if she's worth it or not? No. She's already tired of being an optional choice. She wants to be certainty, a solid presence, clear feelings, a safe place. And you? Do you want to keep pretending you don't see her value? Do you want to keep treating as routine what was at one time a miracle? Are you going to stay silent until she disappears completely? Because when she's gone, she won't come back. This kind of love doesn't return. It leaves marks, but it doesn't reappear. It doesn't present itself again. It doesn't repeat. And when you realize, it will be too late. She will be smiling for another reason, talking with another voice, walking lightly, without fear, without you. And then it's going to hurt, but it won't matter anymore. She gave you chances. You didn't notice. She gave you signs. You ignored them. She screamed in silence. You remained quiet too. She shaped herself to your time. She embraced you in your shadow, did everything to be a shelter, and you made yourself absent. Now breathe, read it calmly, read it again if you need to, because what you can still save won't wait forever. She just wanted to know that she wouldn't lose you. She just wanted to hear that you're also afraid of never finding her again, but you never said. You stayed silent. You acted like it was an exaggeration. You played the detached one, the indifferent, the rational, but she loves differently. She loves from within, loves with her body, with her soul, with her fears, loves wholly, even when she doesn't receive half back. Do you know what she deserved? Peace, reassurance, genuine presence, love that is real, people who don't run away. But what did you give? Absence, inattention, disharmony. She's carried this relationship on her back for too long, and you thought she would endure forever. But she started to let go. She began to detach. She started to accept that you're not going to change. And that hurts more than abandonment, because it's realizing that love alone isn't enough. That loving someone isn't the same as being loved back. Does this make sense to you so far? Write yes below. And if you feel something right now, don't respond with words. Respond with action, with a gesture, with intent. Send a message. Apologize. Get closer. Touch. Look. Embrace like you know it might be the last time. She's still there, but she's almost gone. Do you really want this text to just be a memory, or do you want to turn it into redemption? Finish this sentence. Losing someone who is still here is... Write it in your own way. No filters, with honesty. Because maybe it's the last chance to say everything you've never had the courage to say. Have you ever experienced this with someone? Or are you going through it now? Comment, speak up, open up. Because if this text made you feel so, the next one is going to make you decide, and you'll need to choose to love truly or to regret forever. If it touched you, share it. Comment on what you felt, leave a like, and subscribe for more.